Hello, welcome everyone to Peel the Onion. I'm very excited and grateful to have a sister here with me today, Camille Maciejowski, who's a yoga teacher, musician, and a life coach. And we're really just open to seeing what unfolds for us. I feel there will be, definitely there's always depth with us. We met only a year ago now. Just over a year, and straight away it felt like someone that I'd known before, and we're able to have those true conversations straight up, no surface level. So I'm really curious to see how our conversation unfolds.
Straight in the onion, like to the core of the onion.
Yeah, past all the tears. Maybe we'll see.
Yeah,
Thank you for
having
joining.
me.
Oh, pleasure. I'm so excited to hear. I know we've spoken about our journeys before, but from the perspective of peeling back layers and meeting more of your soul, I feel is coming through. How that journey has been for you, particularly over the last year. That transformation. Because you've launched your first single as well as a dharma.
Yeah, that's a beautiful question.
Yeah.
So exploring, especially this past year. I love the whole intention behind your podcast, and that crux around peeling the onion, peeling the layers, the conditioning, all the stuff, so we can come back to our core. And I can share more about my journey, but definitely this year. Thanks for seeing me in that, because I feel like this year has been a big year for me in that I launched my first song out into the world. So that was...
so beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, it's called Asatoma. So I'm passionate about mantra music. So for those that might not know, mantra music is traditional. Comes from India. It's a really ancient practice. It's said that these yogis would, in deep meditation, just channel through these sounds, and each sound has their energy. So they, for example, connected to our different chakras, like gum, lam, bum. You know, the different. And then then there's mantras that have a different energy. Specific to different things like the heart, and Asatoma is about turning dark into light. And so this year has been me sharing my voice in that way. So that's been big.
And to even pause on the mantra and how you embody mantra just in who you are. And for me, having done Kundalini yoga for so many years, since I was 14, and learning mantra Sanskrit, that really shifted my mental state and well-being, because mantra is a tool for the mind.
One of the things that's interesting on our journey is when we start to, I'm sure you've experienced that, connect to our soul and connect to that really deep wisdom from within that can almost be a bit scary, in that it might be so different to how we've portrayed ourselves in our life thus far. And so for me, when I started to tap into that mantra, I had to start to really sit with that and let go of what I thought other people would think, or my own judgments of of that, I suppose, and trust that and let go in a way so that I could follow my soul and do what I'm supposed to do and share what I'm supposed to share, which is that quite deep practice, that deep,
so moving beyond the fear and the shadows within, which are the, block that full expression of self, and making those towards moves which are in alignment with your heart and soul versus conditioning or what's comfortable, because as humans we seek comfort and we avoid pain. Right? But knowing that that's inevitable. Suffering isn't though. Suffering's not inevitable. pain is. Suffering is when I feel we resist that pull, like you were just saying, of the soul.
It's one of the first concepts I learned in my yoga teacher training, and I remember being like, what do you mean? Suffering's optional. As in, it's a really deep, and of course, you know, it's quite deeply layered, but pain, like you said, is going to be part of our experience, but ultimately how we our relationship to it, how we respond to it is what then can make it into suffering or into just an experience that is ultimately transitional. Yeah,
and can you tell me more about that? Let's drop another layer of how you make that experience from suffering to alchemize and to move more into or back into the light through noticing that suffering or pain. What's been your process in that, maybe more recently? I'm curious.
That's a great question, because I feel like we all experience pain and darkness, and I think it can be one of the things that really can block us and can be quite it can be really tough. I know for me, I've actually been moving through a lot of pain this year, actually. So I'll tell you a little bit of what supports me. But one of the things I want to start with is perhaps a bit of yoga philosophy, which has helped me a lot. And one of my teachers really spoke about, if you think of us, there's the soul, which is the accelerator, that force that wants to move forward, and our ego can be the brake in a way, breaks us, and it protects us, and validly on so many ways. But sometimes there's that friction, right? And the idea that and sometimes it can go into overdrive, and that's why I think physically we can experience that as anxiety or depression, because there's just that force within us that wants to move forward. And there's all these experiences and things that are holding us back as well. But when you're able to just firstly know that that's going to be part of your process, it can help a little bit. And the idea that, especially when we start to tap into our soul and move forward, we're going to be met with resistance. For example, the ego likes to keep us comfortable, likes to keep us small. And so interestingly, I launched my song, and that was a huge expansion, such an accelerator, like, whoa. And then I feel like I plunged in a lot of darkness, which is so interesting.
What came up for you?
There was a lot of different things. There was a heartbreak. There was this sense of confusion about belonging, this sense of like, I've got a lot of my family overseas at the moment, so this feeling of tribe and of like, I'm not with a partner at the moment, so I'm someone that like likes connection, and I'm just feeling quite alone, and a bit detached from my purpose. I feel like I know what my purpose is, but I felt like almost kind of exhausted, like, I know that I have this gift, this music I want to share. There's so much I want to share, but it's just a lot, and I'm finding it difficult to make it work in the material world, you know, like financially, all of that. So it just felt like there was a lot. And I was like, I'm tapping out.
Your nervous system was like, that's my edge.
Yes.
Let me breathe. Pause.
Yeah. That's why I guess what's supported me is being gentle and really the nervous system, like you said, like tending to my nervous system, and knowing that, you know, in order to expand, we need to feel grounded and rooted. So for me, I'm like, okay, I need to show up. I'm starting to make yoga, like going to yoga studio, not just in my own house, like going to a space where there's community and making it a consistent thing, trying to move my body more, because I know I've been a little bit lazy. So, and soulful friendships, all of that, that's been supportive. I can go more and more, but that's some of the things.
Those foundations of exercise, getting out in community, leaning on your friends who see you and love you no matter if you're happy or tired or no surface level. Yeah, choosing wisely. And it all comes back to pillars, but completely resonate. I mean, when you're in the depths, and yeah, I've found that too in terms of this year being in depths, the deepest parts yet that I've explored. But even if you're doing all those things, like the pillars that are there, which I was in that time of massive change when, you know, with the whole psychology system and changing my identity from only being a psychologist to realize that I'm more than just a psychologist and how I operate and my passions in other healing modalities, but then being told I'm not allowed, given the medical. So I was in a battle, very, very much. So now, you know, when you're out of it, you can look back and you have the language.
Yeah.
But during it, it was like a tornado, and you know, I kept up my morning meditation every morning. Without that, I don't even know how I would be. But still, it was so much. It still felt so muddy.
Yeah.
And I was still exercising, you know, I'd reach on my supports. That was all there, but it was still so shit.
Yeah.
And I think the acceptance of how shit it was helped me. It was actually accepting that, right? I just had to trust. Trust that I'll ride out this wave. And it sounds so simple, but it helps so much. And then it's coming back to the light. Or something from I heard from one of my teachers the other day is, if your light is dim or even off, which we all go through phases when we're in our darkness and that heavy period of life, we can actually borrow other people's lights.
I love that. Let me borrow that for a little bit.
Yeah,
and then you can,
with love.
Yeah, that's gorgeous.
Stealing it. It's like, and even listening to someone who lights you up, or a comedian, or so that's what really helped me. Even though I felt so crap, like looking back, how crappy I was, because all of a sudden one day I felt deep happiness again.
Wow.
And I was like, whoa, this shows how, like, that wasn't there for so long, you know? Like,
I feel that. For me, it's like, for me, the colors come back and I'm like, whoa, I was not good. I didn't even realize, I mean, I knew it, but I didn't know the depth of it. That it was so heavy and dark.
Until you feel that spark again.
Yeah. And you're like, wow, that's what it's like to feel alive.
And deep within, not just outward.
Yes.
Ugh.
But in a sense, for me, I feel like having had that experience of darkness has helped me understand what it's like for people that experience that. Because I experienced, you know, a little bit of depression and like anxiety, like I think we all do, but really felt like that was real mentally wasn't good for a bit. And I was like, I definitely felt shame, because I'm like, well, I'm doing all the right things. Same as your meditation practice is something that for me, it's become natural. I'm like, oh, that's part of my daily thing. So I kind of almost forget to mention. For me, it's like an anchor that I do every day. But I guess now looking back, I'm grateful, because there's a lot of challenges out there, and I think we are going through collectively a mental health kind of crisis. And so being able to understand what that can feel like, and being, you know, where, for example, I do a bit of work, I'm trying to work more in that space of working with young people, and imagining what it's like when you're at school and you've got so much tough things happening at home that you're not able to take in the information that a teacher gives you, because your nervous system is at capacity. So being able to kind of experience that in some way made me be able to relate. And so then I think that's going to support me to then help others, like support them, because I understand what it feels like. Yeah, so I'm grateful for that.
Beautiful. And I feel, as we're on the topic of darkness, what came through when you were speaking was around celebrating the darkness, because we've touched on how painful and sticky and messy, and even if we're doing all the things, looking after ourselves in all the layers of mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, it's realizing that when we're in our depths, it's like a diving board. One of my teachers showed me this visually, not actually on a diving board, but described it. And that jump, as you're on the end of the diving board, the depth, knowing that once you jump off, when it's time, right? And you know when it's time, because nature supports the seasons, the cycles. Everything supports in that divine timing of jumping, and that jump, how high. And then think of a tree, the roots, how tall a tree is. The roots go really deep. So for that height, for that expansion of our souls, you can't ignore the depths and the uncomfortable and the scary parts that we haven't really. It's just disintegrated parts of ourselves when we are in a neutral state, and we can reflect on our shadows with our wisdom and life experience too. Now I can hand on heart celebrate it. I remember when I was in my depths this year, I was crying. It was so cathartic. But then I saw a part of me celebrating. I was like, yes, Leah, you're doing it.
Yes.
You've reached a new part of yourself. And then my other part is like, this is so much. So tiring. But then other Liv was like, you moved through a big childhood wound.
Huge. What you moved through, huge. And it's funny you say that, because I feel that I felt this sense of like, it's like digging deep. The deeper you deep, also the higher you can then reach. And in terms of the capacity to feel, it's like I feel a lot of depth and a lot of sadness and pain, but then equally I feel that it's made me be able to like expand and look, be out in the like, even in connections, and be like receive more of that joy as well. So
because you've peeled back a layer, right? To receive more.
Yes.
Yeah, completely.
And I wouldn't take it back.
No.
But I just want to mention one thing, because I love what you mentioned, that darkness, and one of the things I'm quite passionate about actually is encouraging us to go into the dark, because I think a lot of our society is really, we just only what's acceptable is joy, is happiness. And all the other stuff. No, that's pleasure. Yeah. Pleasure, beauty. I mean, they're beautiful things. It's lovely. It's great. It's part of our human experience. And the messiness, the pain. And even in terms of seasons, as you mentioned, winter is a season. Often people are like, oh, I mean, this is maybe me just projecting or just like, but I find generally I hear a lot of that. Oh, it's winter. It's dark. I don't like that. Whereas, what about if we were to actually to lean into that a bit more? I've started to really enjoy winter, even if, as a woman, enjoy my menstrual cycle and go into the dark and let that bathe into the what that experience is actually there for. It's not going to be there forever, but if you go into it, then, like you said, it's then you go into the depth of the tree, and then you can emerge maybe even brighter than you ever imagined. So
amen, sister. I mean, I never used to be so in tune with Mother Earth and her cycles and seasons until I started working with shaman back in 2021. Yeah, when I started my first full-time corporate job as a consultant psychologist. I was fresh out of my master's, and first full-time gig, didn't know what to expect. Whoa, what a shock to the system. 1, corporate world. 2, full-time hours. 3, COVID. Wow. So working working from home. So my team was remote. I never got to see anyone, and I'm a people person more so. But being with someone, hence even having you here in person versus doing it online, it changed my body. You know, you pick up on cues, and we all work like that. So that was just, and then I just kept going and going and going that year because I was saying yes to everything. I was eager to learn, so ambitious that it was then a downfall because there was only so much my nervous system and body could take. So I went into a very dark spiral, sitting with very dark thoughts, and it was just like this loud radio that I couldn't turn off. Constant. I'd sit at my desk and just self-criticism. You're not good at this. You need to do more, or you know, you're not good enough, and all these negative thoughts. And one day I just, it got way too much. I was still doing Kundalini yoga, but there was a gap because I realized I was spiritually bypassing. I didn't have that term then, but I was meditating all Zen in the morning, an hour, which restored me. But then I'd jump on the computer, and during the day my stress levels were through the roof, and it just clicked. I was like, something's not right here, because that needs to translate. If I'm able to keep that calm. But then obviously, you know, given my background in organizational psychology, I was aware that systems have issues and you can't take it all on either, because it's not all you. There's a line where the organization isn't actually supporting the people enough, and there's a line where there's only so much you can do to support yourself, right? So if that organization isn't meeting, or even putting their people first, which they weren't, they just kept do more with less. It all got so much. So circling right back, I met a beautiful lady, Gina, shaman, and at a yoga retreat, and I just clicked with her and then reached out to her, and we ended up doing a 3-month journey. I saw her weekly. And that completely transformed. But she's so in tune with the earth, and that's where I actually started to learn more about my body and the cycles and winter and rest. To what? I was 24, 25. And that just blows my mind that I was that old, really, to learn and to start to embody. I started to do Qigong and Tai Chi and really just soothe myself, to realize I was always in stress. And I was getting sick, adrenals, constant colds.
That was thing,
I knew that wasn't okay, because I'm normally a healthy person. But after those 3 months, and now, like the last few winters, coming right back to what you said, I celebrate winter. I say no more. I'm like a wombat.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's important. And then when you surrender to it, then it's like suddenly you feel the spring. And it's like that energy, and you're like, let's get stuff done. Like
Exactly, but without that rest, because I was always on. By the time spring or summer came, I was just exhausted and I was zapped. My vitality was gone. I was a robot. My relationship with my partner, it was just like, cool. We're going out every weekend. Like, we had social things. It was just constant repeat.
It's huge for the adrenals.
But it wasn't like deep and meaningful. And I feel, and tell me if you felt this too, the more I've connected with Mother Earth and the cycles and seasons which is within me, back to the tree analogy, the more I've been able to embrace both sides and the middle, the roots, the growth and the expansion. And really receive abundance then, and feel who I am at a core, not just who society has conditioned me to be or tries to. Right? Did you notice that shift, or have you always just been natural?
No, not at all. And it's fun. I'm glad as well that you mentioned, it's quite nice to hear. Thanks for being so real and authentic and saying that experience you had where you were like meditating, because I feel that I'm like meditating, and then the rest of my day, then like you said, sometimes I feel like I'm just it's completely different to that. So I'm able to really center myself and regulate myself. But like I mentioned, this year it's been tough. And so what I liked about you sharing is that it helped me just take a bit of the shame away. I've been, that's part of who I am, a bit of a perfectionist in some way. And there's a part of me that was like, well, hang on a second, I'm here, you know, supporting people with all the classes, the yoga classes that I teach, the being a life coach, and then I'm there, like, depressed. What the hell's going on? And it's not like I'm faking the fact that I can be in that present stance. I do it and I sense it, but it's like, so I'd love to actually, we can talk about that a little bit, but also I think one of the things that I've been kind of grasping with is this process of then what you mentioned, your journey with your shaman, and starting to kind of relearn about the natural cycles of the earth and the systems that are not conducive to us being actually in harmony. So being able to understand, you know, the pressure from this, you know, the society and how we operate, and trying to find that balance. And that's not going to be a one-day job. It takes a while. But yeah, what supported you on that?
I love that you brought that up.
Yeah.
Because one, it acknowledges the layers again and our complexities, and Rome wasn't built in a day. But also you said something around being of such service, and what dropped in was being look, there's a pelican.
I love pelicans. Oh, they're so beautiful. Oh,
Hi.
Good
luck.
Have a lovely day.
Being an overgiver. Yeah.
Big time.
And then you feeling the heaviness and just complete opposite of what you were doing outwardly. Really, to me, on my own learning for myself, having done the same for so long, I was the last person to give back to myself, right? So I was constantly just giving out. But until I started to bring awareness to that pattern and where that came from without getting stuck, I used to get stuck into analysing and understanding, it's because my mother did this. There's sometimes that's necessary, but sometimes it's not necessary to go in the story.
Yeah.
But with this instance, I did dabble in the story a little bit because of how deep-seated it was for me, and just for me to share it with others in words that made sense, realising it's been part of my lineage of women who have just overgiven, you know, big-hearted women that all they knew was to just give, but weren't ever taught or shown that you need to put yourself first. And it gives me goosebumps. And
that's
I feel
huge.
like
So many of us can relate, I'm sure.
Yeah, but from my perspective, I feel like it comes back to even as a woman for so many centuries, and it still happens, right? Where your soul is put to the side.
Wow. Yeah.
Being in the traditional wife role of the home and the mother and the kitchen and cooking, and, you know, more of a submissive, which is feminine. Being submissive, surrender. But so much overplayed to the point of women not having a voice. And through that, and I can see from my nonna and my mum, that then became a hard shell around their heart and their soul. But then habits grew of just giving to others and just focusing on others, because potentially it's too painful to come within and feel what's missing and what the gap is, because you're putting others first. And that's a dance, right? Because when you're a mother, I'm not a mother yet, but your whole relationship to life would change because you've got a child and your role. But I really, that's been my, I guess, analysis and reflection on the overgiving part of me, and how I've seen where that's come from, and then I'm on the journey of recovering from overgiving, which I'd love to hear your perspective as well on what I shared.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. That landed deep. And that's exactly what exhausts me is the overgiving. And often, they say that what you give to others is what you need yourself. So that nurturing that I'm good at giving, and that attention, and that that love and that emotional support, I love giving it to others, and I realize that's also what I need the most, because I can be quite dysregulated and quite anxious and feeling quite unsettled, and actually that's what I need. So that's huge. And I guess for me, I'm really on this path of rediscovering what does it mean for me to be a woman. How do I really want to be in the world? Because I actually love that aspect of the woman that's the nurturer, that's at home. I actually love cooking. I think we both have the European, the Italian for me, the French.
Spanish,
or Spanish?
Half.
Spanish. And there you go, so much. So it's like that beautiful, it's in our bones, right? I same, I see my grandmothers, that nurture, but then also the shell. I love how you say that hardcore. Then they become such a, this is you, and this is the only, this is your only, and I'm really for reclaiming. Firstly, that there's actually beauty and power in that, in being that as a woman, because the woman nurturing the kids, they're nurturing the next generation. There's that's such a huge role. And also we can be other than, we can be, more than that. Yes. And then also my mind's like, I'm like picking up on all of this. What came through as you were speaking is, I'm learning to understand which ways do I overgive. For me, for example, I think I overgive in terms of emotions. So I can be there to support a lot of people emotionally during the day. Which then zaps me intellectually, but my body might be fine. But I'm trying to learn to know that, so then I can wind that back a little and know where perhaps I can't be there emotionally for someone.
Can we go through, because I completely resonate, and I'm excited that you brought this up, because those who are listening, I'm curious if they're understanding the more practical lens of what that looks like. Let's say
I love that.
I'm a friend who only reaches out to you for emotional support, and I've done it for years. And I call you, Camille. Oh my God, I had a car accident. Oh my gosh, this friend, my boyfriend, he's just being a pain. Blah 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 blah. Speak. Share. It's been so intense, and then. What does it look like on your end, if that was a good example?
I love that. I mean, see, it's so funny for me. I've played that role of I like to play that role of the
hero.
So this weird thing where there's a part of me that feels weirdly like, I'm like, oh yeah, this is my element, because that's what I did as a child, as we can go analyze that, but the peacemaker, so I drop into that. And I'm now catching myself. For example, if you're sharing, if I'm feeling open, I'm like, yes, I want to listen. Cool. But if there's a part of me that feels like you feel it in your body, like a
instinct,
and you're starting to almost want to look away, or you're like, this is where I'm learning. I'm very much in the learning stage to speak that out and say, hey, I hear that you're going through like a tough period. Like, it sounds like that's been a lot. Sounds intense. And I really care for you and love to support you, but to be honest, I'm not feeling like I have the capacity for it now. And saying this with you, obviously, I feel like you'll be able to receive it, but it's not easy, because sometimes people then they go, what do you mean? And it's a complete shift.
Defend.
It's huge. And it's for me, I'm learning to own my boundaries and not and sit with the fear that's going to come as I start to actually say no, because that's going to feel discomfort. Like, it's not going to feel good. And
your heart starts to pound, you get a
Yeah.
bit sweaty,
Yeah.
breath shortens,
Yeah.
but you lean into it anyway and turn up the courage dial.
What supports you to do that? Like, what's helped you?
I'm laughing because I completely resonate. I was there with you in that conversation of, hey, I mean, it's always felt rusty. I feel like I do it more now than ever, particularly like messaging. I used to just be there for everyone with messages and literally have like 10 conversations going at once.
It's a lot for the mind.
Yeah, but I was distracted. I was distracting myself with everyone else's stuff, not wanting, like, not creating enough space to get to know me. I think I just assumed that, oh yeah, my morning ritual's enough, and then I just want to give out to the world. But yeah, I was zapped every afternoon, and then my poor husband, he would pretty much cop it in my low energy, and that's where that mirror was so powerful, having him as my mirror of like, whoa, my husband's like, apart from me, he's my number one, and I need to do something about my energy mastery so our relationship can flourish even more, because that's my
It's
priority.
important,
So it wasn't until my priorities came into lens through, though, feeling the exhaustion and feeling like my throat chakra was just zapped all the time, and I was scattered and like replying to messages while I was driving, in terms of like voice messaging constantly, where the pauses throughout the day weren't there. It's like I kept that pattern from go, 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 which is the wider matrix. It is the grid, right?
Yeah.
That mainstream consciousness is.
Yeah.
So it's easy. I want to acknowledge that it's easy to fall back into that.
When it's everywhere.
Right.
When it's everywhere, and then you're like, it's like you have to, it's like such a opposing force to choose not to go into
but
that.
it's also within us still, you know? It's still part of us, because what's outside, it isn't actually fully separate. Like, people on the street are still part of us.
Yeah.
We're
connected, yeah.
Unless we go live in a cave, and you could probably speak to that when you lived in Byron, the energy would have been different there to Sydney and Northern Beaches. I mean, Northern Beaches is so beautiful compared to the city.
Yeah.
But circling back, I feel, leaning into the discomfort of saying, actually, I've said now's not the time.
That's a nice
I'm not
way.
present. I say I'm not fully present right now, and that's doing a disrespect to you.
Yeah, I love that.
But then I'm also discerning with that, because if I'm not really wanting to give them presents later with this, because I'm not their counsellor, then I would, I do lean into what you said. Hey, and I keep it short. Why don't you reach out to a health professional? You know, I've seen this lady. I'm sure there's one in your area. I keep my boundaries firm of like, cool, I'm here for you in terms of, thanks for reaching out. I'll think of you, just little things, but even asking, what do you need most right now? And it might just be a hug if I'm with them. Because some people can just like overtake as well, and when you've played that dynamic for so long, and you're the giver, and they're the taker, it has to balance. So those few things. I've started to implement more, what do you need most now? And that's helped me just cut, assuming I'll do all this stuff, be there emotionally, but actually they might just realise they just need a cacao. Cool.
Yeah, or hug sometimes. We've learned in a society, we're quite, in this Western world, we're quite intellectual, so we feel like we need to fix or provide a solution, where someone might actually just need a hug or like a chocolate. Let's just sit there with a cacao.
It's on until you pause and you receive that question to know, right? Like right now, I'll ask you, what do you need most right now?
I feel your presence, just like that hand on the knees, lovely. Right now, I feel like that's what I need. Thank you. Thank you. And it's getting used to that, right? Because I'm not used to being asked that. So it takes me some time I'm really learning that into myself, like to apply it, and to tune into, I have needs. What do I need? As opposed to, because I also just wanted to say, also to flip it, I've noticed that I've also been the one that sometimes then, you know, dumps. I mean, I feel like I'm pretty aware. You know, I try not to, because I never expect anyone to show up if they don't have the capacity. But the truth is sometimes the truth is sometimes with a long friend that you've maybe you know, you've had that dynamic of just like you know, being, I guess, emotionally sharing with each other. And I'm having this, for example, with like friends that are away, so you're having phone calls or like voice messages. Voice messages is great, but it's also a big thing. I'm learning, like, I don't know if I want to do voice messages much more, because it's an energy that it takes space in your mind.
But do you feel like that takes more energy than writing? Because there's something about looking at a screen for me.
Me too. I'm the same. I can't do it. I can't.
I think I'd rather use my voice.
Same.
But keep them shorter.
Yeah.
And let's park it for a catch up.
Yes. That's it.
Not like on and on.
Yeah. So it's like we're all learning that, right? I'm learning as well too, because I've been on the receiving end for sure. But I'm learning to then, how do I then, you know,
receive?
How do I then show up to others? Can I bring a little bit more awareness so that I'm not just dumping? And Well,
I love that you brought that up, because I feel like there's a constant dance between that. Like, what is it, dumping, or is it you just being human? I remember going through a sticky period of my own boundaries of, right. It was when I actually stepped more into a clinical role as a psychologist. So from corporate, then I went into work with pediatricians and parents and children and adolescents, and I started to do the one-on-one therapy. And then that was a whole transformation, because I was doing that as my job versus in groups, and it wasn't as deep in corporate. It was just high surface level, more topic.
Yeah.
But when I started to explore trauma of the family and children, I'd leave exhausted. And then I'd come home, and then I'd have certain friendships then that were also doing that. And I never realised until I stepped into my therapist role that I was being their therapist, not their friend. Wow. They were only reaching out to me when things were shit. Yeah. And then when we'd catch up, like even now my throat hurts. It would be just like me counselling them. And it's a lot. Right? And then it was when I started to come back inward and understand more of who I am and what I need, that these friendships started to fall away, because I allowed them to and accept the part of me. And it was murky, because slowly I inserted the boundaries, and they'd still call me. I'd start to ignore the calls and just send a message later, sorry I missed your call, even though that felt like I was doing something wrong and I was rude, but I was undoing all this wiring and conditioning that I need to be there for everyone. Yeah. You know?
That's huge.
But coming back to human, this is where community and your circle of people that just love you, see you, hold you, no matter where you are, because as a woman, we need to have a container to just, if we want to call it a dump, cool, we can call it a dump. I really believe that.
It's important. Sometimes we need it.
Oh my God. Yeah. That's how we feel our emotions too, by sharing them, because what you share, just you sharing now, I completely resonated. And look what we've shared now with the world. It's like we grow together. Yeah. For too long, I was trying to be just like not human and practice what you preach all the time, and it was exhausting. Thanks to beautiful friends in my life who showed me more of human, but also who are connected spiritually and conscious. Love your humanness.
I love that. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
How do you feel with loving more of your humanness?
I love that, because that's something I've been actually really leaning into this year as well. And like there's a part of me that, because I have that career as a coach, as a yoga teacher, there's this part of me that's like, I need to have my shit together. And I'm learning to just share my humanness, and I think that brings us closer to one another.
And where did you get that from?
as in
yoga
which part?
teacher, I need to be this way because I'm
Good
where
question.
Where did that come from? I'm curious.
I think perhaps it's this voice that I've got about that cares about what others think, and I think I don't know where exactly that came from, but I guess this feeling of like if I'm teaching these practices and if I'm being I don't know yoga teacher, then perhaps that I should have my act together. I don't know where
Was there a
it's come from.
teacher in your life that was complete, like, too much? Human?
Like a yoga teacher.
Yeah, like not as embodied maybe as you had liked, because well,
it's funny. There's definitely that in a lot of yoga teachers.
Okay, so maybe you picked that up. I don't want to put anything in, but I find that curious.
I think for me, I feel like it's more about the conditioning of the woman and like the perfect, and like I'm only going to be loved if I'm if I do things right, if I'm a good girl that I use, like if I'm whereas what is to say that it's bad to be sad and emotional? No, it's just about being authentic, and being authentic is the best thing ever. Brene Brown talks about vulnerability. It's what brings us closer, and I've been leaning into that more now. I think I actually was disconnecting myself from the world by hiding the pain that I was going through, and putting on that brave face, because I try not to wallow in the in the heaviness. I'm trying to be positive, but sometimes what I found myself is I would then like only show part of my heaviness to certain people, and then I was like, oh, that's not really healthy either. I need to just be real. And sometimes even have you ever met someone that's like super authentic and real, and they can be kind of fun. They'll be like, oh, I ain't got time for that shit today. They're like, I'm knackered, and you're like, damn, you're just so real. Like, I love
inspiring, that. Inspiring, right?
So it's just that's just I'm trying. I'm wanting to just be more real. It's a process of unconditioning, peeling off the layers.
And embracing your fire. That's I feel like getting comfortable with the inner fire as a woman. Even men, right? Doesn't matter in gender, depending on how you're raised. But I completely resonate. And knowing you're safe. But also that comes back to what you built with your body, like trusting your journey and how strong your muscle is to be so receptive in any environment that your body will tell you no. Move away. Not analysing. I feel like more than ever now I've dropped more in. There's of course still more growth there. There will be always. But allowing that authentic side to come out. But also acknowledging that looks different depending who I'm with. It doesn't mean I'm being inauthentic, but you're meeting someone else's energy.
That's so true.
And how you're feeling as well. It's like...
because you can't... sometimes being authentic... Like, if you're really not doing the best, you're not going to, like, be authentic necessarily in your full self to the grocery. Like, or maybe someone in your family they might give you a call and you can sense that they're not there, they don't have it. So that's what we have to honor. And I just practically, because I like how you bring it back to the practical, in a sense for me I've been practicing feeling, for example, the intensity of the emotion in the body. It could be this feeling of like I'm noticing my mind. For example, I'm in a yoga class and I'm feeling my mind is crazy about like I'm looking really dorky right now, whatever, like I don't know, this is random. And then when you can start to feel it in your body as like maybe heat, maybe tightening, but know that that's okay. Like if you just feel it and know that's okay, like it's just a feeling. And then when you start to like ride through that, you feel like, whoa, I survived that and I was okay, and it was just a story, and I got to the other side and I survived.
Through your breath, and awareness.
Through breath and awareness, just noticing what's coming in and not going with it so much, but just noticing it as a sensation in the body, and breathing through it.
Thank you for sharing that. I feel like my body dropped in even more. I feel like having a little nap. I know, allowing that flow of water, that's what was coming to me, the stream. And then also honouring the journey of getting to this point, and whoever else is on starting the journey or in the middle or don't even know where it is, because I don't know where mine is either. We can pretend we know.
Spiral, right?
Yeah.
We support each other. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And there's no
But that's one of the hardest things I feel in our society, in our energy of consciousness, is that distancing in a healthy way and noticing the emotion move through your entire body and embrace it, because that you need a layer of sensitivity and connection and body awareness, right? Someone who's had so much trauma and haven't really necessarily actively moved through it and haven't been ready to seek support for that, they're in that freeze state. So they're going to go into constantly being I'm not safe, react mode, shut down mode.
That's
so
very true.
Emotions aren't really, they're just there to keep them safe. Quick run away or fight. You know? Someone's capacity of
it's something that takes time. I've definitely I did my first Vipassana retreat. Have you done one?
No, only for a day, but I want to do what how long was it? 10 days?
10 days. I can't believe 10 days. And look, it was actually quite different, and that's the whole thing. We could go into it maybe another time, but I remember sitting in that being like, whoa, like I could have not done that a few years ago. Like going into the body, and when you've got so much pain in the body, you feel you're gonna die, like just being with you're like, and then you spiral. It's like,
Vipassana is where intense. You can't speak at all for 10 days, right? Or look at someone in the eyes.
So you're not supposed to engage with other people. So, I know it's a very ancient, or not very traditional way. And the thing is, I was quite like, I'm very skeptical of hard rules. Like I'm very like, no, I'm a woman. I'm all about, But I got to learn that the idea is not that you do that all the time. It's just an experiment for 10 days. And of course, if you can't sustain it, you can. But I had to have a lot of self-soothing, for sure, because I was going through a lot. But but there was something in that, is that sometimes you do think you're going to die by being in your body.
Wow.
And surprisingly, you might feel something super intense. But the whole idea that you learn is that it's changing, and it might stay there for what feels like a long time, maybe even days, but there might be a glimpse of actually you feel like, oh, actually it's shifted slightly, and you realize ultimately we're just shifting. It's always shifting. So that was quite eye-opening.
And what would you say, whoever's listening, or even your younger self, what would you tell her? What reasons would you tell her to do something like a Vipassana retreat? Because it's one way of accessing your stillness and yourself, I would say. And there's many other ways of that, even moving through trauma and stuck emotion, energy. So from your experience?
From my experience, I'd say, for me, I went into it to show myself that I could do hard things. And I think that's what I wanted to show my younger self, like you can do hard things and survive. And that's really empowering. And it's not for everybody. I'd say trust your intuition. There's a lot of, in this world we always say, oh, you should do that, we should do that. No, like we're all different. So you're your own master. Listen to that voice, and if there's a curiosity leaning you towards doing that practice, then perhaps it's because there's something in it.
Beautiful. I love that. And I feel Vipassana is very in line with spirit and connection to source, consciousness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's quite I like it because it's quite a practical, it's very practical. I thought I was going to have all of these eye-opening, meditations and like really deep synchronicity. But actually, it's just to give you a little, from my experience, it was more of all your stuff comes up.
Yeah.
So it's actually a deep cleanse.
Detox.
It's the teacher Goenka calls it it's a surgical surgery of the mind. You're just getting all the stuff out, and by sitting, all the things are rising. But then you're ultimately freeing, and then you can then reconnect to your essence. So it's
And if it ever gets too much for people, do you know what happens? They have people on site to help.
You definitely have. You can talk to the teacher. You can ask questions.
Yeah.
And you can leave.
Yeah.
They're not like the idea is that you are.
See it.
Yeah. If it's too much, leave.
Yeah.
They're encouraging you not to, which I see because the idea is that you're quite vulnerable.
Yeah.
As you open up.
Yeah.
So it's important to then not just drop out and just to feel held, through that experiment because you've opened up that wound. So just to be able to close it up gently, not just go out into the world with that open wound.
Which is like that integration time of slowness and you and first.
Yeah.
I was there with you as you were describing. What a journey it's been today together.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, thank you so much
Only
for having this container.
You're so welcome, my pleasure. Thanks for sharing so openly and vulnerably, and you're an inspiration more than you realise to many. And I'm excited to keep seeing you realise that as you continue to grow and stay in your joy and truth. That's all you need to do. I'm here cheering you on.
Thank you so much. Thank you for seeing me and for creating these conversations. You're such a gift. I'm really blessed, to have you. So thank you.
It was so much fun. Thank you all for listening. I do want to share, Camille has a beautiful podcast called Breaking the Good Girl Cage. I came across it last year, I think before I met Camille. And it just caught my eye. I mean, it was speaking deeply to my soul, breaking the good girl cage. So I encourage you to go. Is it on Spotify?
Yeah, it's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts,
Awesome.
all the platforms.
Amazing.
Yeah, and I have a song.
Yes.
It's under Camille Lily. It's my artist name.
Yes.
We mentioned at the beginning Asatoma.
Yes.
So it's especially the intention is if you are to circle back to what I was speaking at the beginning in that darkness perhaps the idea is you can just plug it in and just receive that beautiful energy. I recorded it just after my Vipassana, so I feel like I was in that state.
Creativity upgrade. I'll add all your Instagram and details in the notes, but thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you soon.
Take care.
Bye.